Yo, check the mic 1, 2 for the whole entire crew. Leanne, Zaccar on the scene, a message cutting through the blue. No surface motivation, this is authentic education, spiritual insight from years of hurt and transformation. She gives you the art of coming alive, a real blueprint. Awaken, reveal, transform, that's the knowledge that she sent. So stop surviving, man, it's time for you to re-up. Turn that pain to purpose, confidence is filling your cup. Word is bond, my man, she got that Brooklyn state of mind, the kind of wisdom that's so pure, it's truly one of a kind. It's the art of coming alive, yeah! The art of coming alive.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Tell Me Your Story. This is your podcast host, Chris Baker. Hello, how you doing? And today's guest is Leanne Zaccar. There we go again. Yeah, give it up for
We got there. From across the world. And lots of conversations beforehand, we made it. So excited to be here.
Tell the audience where you're coming from right now.
I am in Sydney, Australia, down under. And we're just heading into winter. So
wow, that's crazy.
We're not ready. We're tiptoeing. It's like one more week of autumn and not ready.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, we were just talking about that a second ago. Like, it's about to be summertime here, and you're going into the winter. Oh, you poor soul. You poor soul. I'm so sorry for you. Come on over to the States.
Oh, anytime.
Get out of there while you can.
I know. It's my air conditioner broke, as you know. So, it's felt like my toes have felt like little ice cubes here.
Oh my goodness, I can only imagine.
And under the lights.
So what did you do? Did you have like a blanket on? What was going on there?
I know. We've had to turn to gas, and yeah, pull out my Ugg boots, my Aussie Ugg boots. Still my feet were cold though. That's the problem.
That's just how it goes sometimes, you know? You gotta get the hot water to put your feet in some hot tub.
I know.
Put them in a pot.
In denial. We're in denial here.
All right, let's kick this thing off. Where does it all start from you? Where were you born?
Oh, I'm a Sydney girl. So I was born right here. I think of myself as half Italian, but I'm actually a bit of a mix. Don't tell anyone because I literally say I'm half Italian, Australian, but I've got some Greek in me. A couple generations back, I've got Russian and English. It's a real mix. So, but just I keep it clean with Aussie Italian. As you can see from my Mediterranean tan, it's really working for me.
Looking good.
The whitest Italian you've seen.
Something doesn't seem right there. What's going on?
I promise it's true.
We need to talk to your ancestors real quick. Let's see what happened. So what was life like growing up in Sydney?
You know, it was so good, and I feel like the world has changed so much. You know, I've got two teenage boys myself, and I just really think about my youth and growing up without screens and being out until it was dark, and that was like our time schedule, you know. Once the street lights came on, make sure you're home for dinner, and it's so different now. I had a great childhood. I feel really blessed. I have a wonderful, wonderful family, wonderful parents. And it's great. It was great growing up in Sydney. I feel like Australia, we're so lucky here, you know. So many people come to Australia and say, I was coming for a holiday and then I never left. And I'm like, yeah, everybody else too.
I hear that a whole lot. I mean, people go to Australia and then they just stay there. They renounce their citizenship and become a citizen of Australia. And I'm like, dude, I mean, am I missing out? What's going on? What's the secret? Is it a secret? What's going on over there?
It's a great life, and I think the outdoor life is really great. You know, if you like surfing or bushwalking, I mean, there's really something for everybody. And I'm sounding like an ad for Australia now, but we have a healthy lifestyle here, and so I certainly really value that. And I think a lot of people do, so it's good.
So for the audience that's listening right now, they want to know: do you have a pet kangaroo?
Well, no, but I have a pet bird who I've had to put away so he doesn't fly. He always makes a little visit during my meetings, but yeah, no kangaroos. No kangaroos.
Oh, you should have totally left him out, man. You could have put some entertainment.
Everybody
Could have flew and said hello.
I do live opposite the bush, and so we do get wallabies, which look, for all intensive purposes, a mini kangaroo. We see them a little bit, so not in our backyard, but certainly across the road. So that's kind of cool. Still, as an Aussie, it's exciting for me. So.
That sounds. Now I always hear about the spiders over there. Are they huge? What's going on there?
Huge. They're huge, and not.
Wait. What's that behind you right now? What is? What is that?
They're hairy. We don't like them, but the big ones are harmless. But I've been driving with like one on the windshield, and it's pretty freaky. We had to go there, did we, Chris?
No, I was thinking to myself because I just had that happen recently. I was driving, and then all of a sudden I see it come down. The spider starts crawling down, and you're thinking to yourself, do I wreck the car now, or do I just keep proceeding and keep going to where I need to go and then deal with this later? Sure enough, I got to the next red light, and I said, "Here, get this thing out of here."
So good. I know it's hard if there's nowhere to pull over, right?
No, especially when you got traffic left and right, and you're like, "Oh boy, please just don't land on me. Don't start crawling down my shirt. Please don't.
Don't do that to me." Yeah. Not fun. Yes, apparently I heard, what did we have? Something like 12, or maybe it's more, 40, I don't know, of the most deadly creatures here in Australia. And we're like, oh yeah, we'll go surfing, and there's the sharks and the jellyfish and the spiders and the crocodiles. We've got it all. It's fascinating.
Checking it out. Australia better start paying her. She's telling you all the reasons to go there. You better start paying her.
We've just done the ad.
Go to Australia. Oh, okay. So, back to your story before we get too far off. So your childhood, was it with technology or no technology for the younger audience?
Yeah, gosh, I'm really sounding my age now, and I'm 50 next year. So without technology for a good portion, I remember being in high school, and that's when computers started, and we had a computer class, and it was all, I was 20, no, was I 19 or 21? I was 21 when I got my first email. So I remember somebody setting it up for me, and I was like, what is this magic? What do I do?
What is this?
What is this? Hocus pocus. It was really cool. And yeah, remember the phones? Well, you might not remember, Chris, but the phones were like bricks, and they...
the big guys.
We used to have to, if you wanted an E, you had to press beep, beep, beep to get the E. And it was a long process to send a text, that's for sure. So, but it was good times without screens. I think really valuable. It's a shame to have it.
To better explain this to the audience, what she was just saying is, it wasn't always a keyboard. It wasn't always you could type really fast. At one time, you had to type with the numbers. You had to make sure you were getting the E's, you were getting the C's. It would take you a minute to type out that text message, unless you get really good at it.
That's right. Absolutely. Like A, B, and C was on the same key. So to get to the C, you had to press it 3 times, the one button, and then move on to the next letter. So it was an art form.
And then you got to also add in there too that it wasn't always you had just unlimited text messages. Just you had to pay. Like at a certain time, they became free, but throughout the day, you had to pay for your minutes and whatnot.
That's right. It was like 30 cents or 50 cents for a text message. So So it always makes me laugh, this generation that'll be like, "Hi, how are you? Enter. What are you doing today? Enter." And like, we couldn't do that. It was just a block, a block of typing.
That's it.
Click, that's it. There's 50 cents gone.
You see the dots lighting up, and then you're like, "Hey, somebody's typing!" Oh, my husband. And actually, no, at one time it did say it would say when somebody was typing instead of the little 3 dots it does. It would say typing, and then you'd be like waiting,
Yeah.
waiting, and they're like, "Oh, there it is."
Yeah, and no emojis, no, nothing like that. Yeah, very
It was
simple.
tough.
It
It was tough.
it was easy, but it was tough. I mean, can you imagine this generation now? Like, I remember, even the simplest thing, like I'm running late. Now we have the joy of being able to say 5 minutes late, 2 minutes late, I'll be there, I'm just parking the car, whatever it is. Whereas back then, 20 minutes late, you're standing there going, have they forgotten completely? Or like, is this what's going on? Try and find 30 cents to get out the payphone and hope that you catch them, but they're probably en route. So what's going on? It was a different time, wasn't it?
Well, I'm thinking to myself, they probably don't even know what a payphone is.
I know.
I'm thinking about that right now. Like, they probably like, what is a payphone?
Yeah, so a public phone outside, a big box that you'd stand in and close the little like shower curtain, a glass shower curtain. So you had
Those
privacy.
things that they made famous in movies that are supposedly the time traveling machines.
That's
That
right.
yeah, you actually made phone calls. Like at Bill and Ted. I don't know if you guys ever watched that. Bill and Ted. They made that was their time traveling device. I think who was it? Doctor Who. I think he had it as well.
That's right, absolutely. A lot of my
So those
family.
things that you see them getting inside. Oh, or what was the newest movie that just came out? Something Black Phone or something like that. Something like that.
I
Where
don't know.
the phone booth is ringing constantly and they
It's
gotta.
always in the like espionage and those movies too. You run to the public phone to get that magic phone call to be given the next piece of information in the in the story. So
To give you guys a better feel for it, that was the payphone. It was the payphone. We're showing our age here.
they were spotted in the next movie for sure.
All right. So, schooling, what was it like for you guys?
When was sorry?
Were you the queen of the school?
Oh
Were you
goodness,
Miss
no.
Popular?
In school, no. I was not Miss Popular in school. I was, just an everyday. In fact, I have a story when I started high school. I moved a few times. We moved around a little bit, but in my last school, I started in year 8, and so second form, you might call it over there, I think. And my hair was cut short, and the hairdresser permed it. This is natural curls. The hairdresser permed it, so it went into a ball like Annie, and I had to start a new high school looking like Annie from the musical, the little redheaded, and it was not good. So that did not come with popularity, I can guarantee. It came with a lot of name calling and assumptions. And that's how I started my new school. So it was brutal.
That was a hard knock life.
It was a hard not life. Exactly. And, I think that those sorts of things, which we've all lived in childhood, we've all lived some kind of, teasing or whatever it is to a certain degree. I think that certainly propelled my want for making the world a better place from the grassroots up. I've worked with kids for the last decade. I started with primary school ethics teaching, and I was so passionate about it. I thought, if we can just teach kids to be nicer to each other, and I start with my patch, think about how amazing the world could be if we get rid of, if we start having some empathy and I think that certainly comes from a little bit of that childhood of dealing with some of that, and my little white legs, that I'd put skin colored stockings because I was so embarrassed about how white I was. and some of the boys would tear them. And it's like in those
What?
days, it was like a $12 pair of stockings that you then have to replace the next day. So, like small things that there's a lot worse, but it certainly makes you tougher or makes you appreciate, kindness and things like that. So yeah, that was a little bit of it. But I had a great childhood and a wonderful school and wonderful friends, and I'm still in touch with some of my one best friend from school who's known all sides of me, all
That's
the
cool.
versions of me through life. So it's really wonderful to have.
I'm thinking to myself too, like when I ask this question to a lot of people, I always reflect on my own experience in high school. It's like, well, in high school, I was kind of like you. I kind of dealt with. I experienced both. I mean, my freshman year, out senior year too was. I guess I was the cool kid. I was the one that hung out with the whole crowd and whatnot. But my
Oh,
sophomore and junior year is I went to a completely different school. And see, I had that same mindset. I felt like I was the man. When they said my name, I stood up like, "Yeah, what's up, everybody? You know who it is." And then, everybody looked at me like, "Sit down." And that's where I got humbled.
that's it. And there's that wonderful story that I see where, so a father tells his son, take your car to the secondhand car dealership, and see what he'll give you. And then it's not much. And he takes it to the other place, and he takes it then to the vintage place, and they offer, thousands. And he says, yeah. So he says, it's you need to know your own value, because it's the place that you are that. So we've got to not listen to the people that are devaluing us, in other words, and
Amen.
know our own worth, and keep looking for our circle that's going to value us, because we don't need to listen to just everybody else's opinion. So I love that little story. It reminds me of your
I
journey.
mean, it's
Find that so beautiful.
I enjoy that too. I mean, I've heard that plenty of times, and it kind of refreshed me when you were saying that. For the people that have never heard that story, can you
I was
tell?
going to say, I'm sure you can deliver it a lot better. It's some, and I'm working with memory here, but it's something along the lines of a father tells his son to take a car to a second-hand car dealership, and the guy at the dealership looks at the car and says, like, I'll give you $200 for it. And he goes home and he says, Dad, the guy said he'd give me $200. And so then the dad says, all right, well, off you go down to, off you go down the road to, another shop that, and he comes back and he says, oh yeah, they'll give me $1,000 for it. And then he says, all right, just try one more place. I want you to go to this vintage place where they, and he goes along and they're like, Dad, he'll give me $10,000 for it, and he comes back and it's really a show of your worth, of the same item, the same product, you're the same person, the same item, but different people will value you differently. And I suppose the most important thing is to know your own worth and not let other people put you down for what they think. So because there is absolutely a place for you and your worth, your story, your life, your personality, everywhere, and you just have to find your spot.
Amen.
Did I do
Amen.
it
Well
justice?
said. The way I heard the story, it was not like that. But I heard a grandpa gave his grandson a watch and said, take this to the pawn shop and see how much they want it. He takes it to the pawn shop. The pawn shop looks at it and says it's like they'll give him $5 for it. He goes back to his grandpa, tells him, yeah, it was only $5. And then his grandpa says, go to this shop and see how much it's worth there. Does the same thing, goes there. They say, we'll give you 200 for it.
Yeah.
Goes back to grandpa, tells him what happened. Grandpa says, okay, I want you to go to this museum and ask him how much this watch is worth. So he goes to the museum and they look at him like, where did you get this watch? This watch is worth millions. And then, pretty much like you said, it's
Yeah.
just goes to show, go to places where you are valued, and you'll truly experience who you really are. I mean, that's just life, man. There's gonna be
Absolutely.
some places that are gonna kick you around and beat you to your knees, but there's gonna be a place for you wherever you go. I mean, whoever's watching this right now, I'm talking to you. You're feeling it right now. You're feeling like you're unworthy. Nobody likes you, but there is. There's people out there looking for you. Yeah, you. Yeah, you can point at yourself. Yeah, you. They want your value. They see you. One day, you're gonna meet that person. All right, back to your story.
Absolutely. No, it's so important. It's so important because so many people are suffering in this world, and loneliness as well. Just talking about, somebody's looking for you, but loneliness is such a big. We're in a digital world where these devices were made for us to be connected, and we are the most unconnected place we've ever been in history. And loneliness is a real issue. And I mean, I see it all the time online in like the local mums groups, people saying, I've moved here, I'm so lonely, I haven't got friends, is there anyone else looking? And so keep looking, know your worth, and don't listen to people. Because and you also hear those stories about kids who were teased in high school, quite badly bullied and teased, and they turn it around. They turn it around, and there's a big I'll show you, and then they flip their life around just so they can prove. And we don't need to prove to anyone except ourselves, if we keep doing our personal best. But it's so hard when people have come from bullying and things like that. So I love what you said, Chris. Lots of value in that.
I just heard a story just recently, like kind of like this, but um, I like after hearing this story, I always try to make like contact, whatever. Like when I'm walking with somebody, I always try to say acknowledge them and say hi, how you doing? Because there was a guy, I guess, out in California not too long ago that was walking to the Golden State Bridge to end it all, and he was walking past everybody. I guess he lived a long distance from the bridge. He was about to get to there, and the guy stopped him. The guy said, "Hey, wait, what's up, man? What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Thank you." And then the guy looked at him like, "What?" He said, "I was gonna I was gonna jump off this bridge. It's gonna take my life, but I made a challenge to myself today. I said, if I get one person that acknowledges me and talks to me, I won't do it."
Wow.
That was like I guess that's what he said to God. The guy that was gonna do it said, if one person talks to me, God,
Yeah.
then I'll stay. But if not, I'm coming home. And sure enough, one person out of all the people that live out there in California was able to stop him and say, nope. So that would be another thing to whoever's
Right.
watching right now. I would say, even if you don't know, I mean, they always tell us don't talk to strangers, but just say hi. Because you never know. You really
You
never
never
know. I hate to get deep, but it's the truth. We live in a world where social media and the phones technology has kind of distanced us. It's kind of made us antisocial towards each other. And we can't be that way. We need to be together. We need to unite again.
Absolutely. I think it's a dying art. And I think particularly after COVID, it was almost like people were scared to make eye contact because they thought, I'll get a disease if if I make eye contact, or I get too close besides my 2 meters, or, that sort of thing. And I noticed a real shift there. And that is such a powerful story, Chris. And like, thank goodness for that man who did make eye contact. I love talking to people in lifts, especially children. Like I always go out of my way to talk to children because we're in a safe environment. They're with their parents, so it's a safe way for them to learn. It's okay to talk to a stranger, but I've had some really beautiful experiences as well. There was a little girl once. I remember telling her, "Oh my goodness, your dress is so beautiful." She had a little dinosaur dress on. She was so cute. And her face lit up, and her dad said, "You have no idea. We had the biggest breakdown this morning because she wanted to wear this dress, but she thought people were going to think that she looked stupid because she was a girl wearing a dinosaur dress, and they would make fun of her." And I go in not knowing that, innocently just saying hello, and you've just changed a little girl's life for the better that day. You know what I mean? So I'm the same. I think it's important we, especially in our own streets, in our own communities, make eye contact when you're walking past, say hi. You never know who needs it. As Chris has talked about, you never know, it's just teaching everybody we're here, we're a community, we're human. Connect.
My challenge for whoever's watching this is for this entire week. I mean, actually do it for this entire year. I bet you can't do it. I bet you can't do it. If you can, message me and say you did it, and prove to me that your life doesn't change. But I want you to compliment one person each day of your life this year. You'll see your whole life change, I promise you.
I agree with that. You will see your life change. And genuine compliments, right? People love hearing it, and the gift is in the giving. I always say the gift is in the giving. When I compliment somebody and I meet somebody and I'm like, wow, I love you this, I love you that, you feel so good. You really,
It does.
you're raising people's vibration inside. And when they're feeling electrified and when they're feeling filled up and alive from the inside out. I always talk about reigniting people's sparks. So when their spark is shining from the inside out, imagine the confidence that they can walk in and just think, what am I going to do with my life today? And, they'll just be braver and happier and shine. And then it's such a knock on, isn't it, Chris? It's such a knock on. So
It's beautiful.
So I am with you there. I love it. We're speaking the same language for sure.
Welcome to Positive Thinking by Chris Baker and Leanne.
Absolutely. It's so important. It used to be we live in villages, it takes a village to raise a family. We live in villages, we're all connected. And now, where are the villages? And so people in suburbs, I don't know what you call them over there, but in little areas are trying to get together and create little things. But it's so important. Community is so important. And for longevity, we know that community is a big part of, in the Blue Zone research and things like that, they show that a sense of community and connection is powerful in living a long, happy life. So it's very important.
And you have to look at it like this. People want change in the world. But the only way you can do it is start with you.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what I was saying to you. And before we were rolling, I was telling you about my desire to make the world a better place from the grassroots up. And I always said, if I can just improve my patch, it starts there. So I improve my patch, and then maybe a couple of people from there improve their patch, and then the world gets bigger and brighter and happier and better for everybody. We all win. We all win when we raise each other up. That's the exciting thing. Amen to that.
I was thinking to myself as you were saying this, did this way of thinking, was this always your way of thinking, or did it happen like after high school, college? What was going on?
Oh, I love that. What a great question. So I don't think I was thinking that deep in high school. Not for sure. I think I've always been a lover, not a fighter. Absolutely. Like my personality was my personality very early on. But this deep desire for giving, and I think being a giver and being somebody who serves crept in early, but certainly not until my 30s somewhere. And it is such a big part of me. Like serving is such a big part of me. And, my kids say things like, what is that? What's the point of life? And these big questions we talk about sometimes. And I sometimes say, you need to find your gift, what you're good at, and you give that to the world. And that is your purpose, because I really, really believe in, if we all make ourselves the best and give that to the world, we all, as I said, we end up with a much better world we can all live in. And so I do think quite deeply, but I'd say around my 30s. So, the last couple of decades, but yeah. So
I mean, just once you start to really, truly appreciate that gift of just knowing how to think deeper. I mean, I'm glad that, I learned it more at a younger age. I always put myself in other people's shoes.
Yes.
And just how I was brought up by my parents. My parents always told me to think before I do, and how would you react if you were in that person's position? And I've kind of lived like that. I always watch what I say, and when people lash out on me or something, they get upset about something. I try to replay it in my mind, like, okay, it didn't work as I thought it would. Let me try to step into that person's shoes and see, like, okay, where I messed up at. And really, it has helped me a lot through life. I mean, I understand. I'm I'm one of them guys, I will apologize to you right away. I'll be like, I kind of got out of line there. I apologize, I wasn't thinking, I said the wrong thing, man. I can admit when I messed up. I know a lot of people can't do that, but
Yeah.
I can,
It's so important. It's so important. Empathy. And absolutely. I mean, I was taught, manners and consideration, and I think empathy has naturally been a big part of me. I've always had, um, they always people always talk about being an empath. Okay, well, I didn't have words for it at the time, but definitely super sensitive, definitely feel when people are hurting, that it hurts me and that sort of thing. And so that empathy and putting yourself in their shoes, absolutely, I'm with you there. But bigger picture stuff, I don't think for me came until later. Yeah.
well, let's learn about your early 20s. What were you doing there? Were you partying? What was going on? Were you in college?
Oh gosh, fun times in your 20s, aren't they? Carefree.
Yes.
Yeah, just so much fun. So I did a bit of traveling. I lived overseas for a couple of years in England. That's where I met my now ex-husband. He's Italian. We met in when I was working in England. And, it was good times and big learning curves. Big learning curves and sort of becoming who you are. And I think they say our prefrontal cortex isn't developed until 25. I think it's a real, testing the waters, which we all go through, and then a real sense of, is this who I want to be? I'm making really adult choices now. Like really in those early 20s, I think was really where I started to go, that's kind of not what I want to do, or that's not who I want to be, or who do I want to be and how do I want to present myself and act. Like I always say I was always a good girl, always did the right thing,
Sure.
Yeah. The only school was for talking or not having my hair up, and that I think became people pleasing later on in life, and so that was another whole journey on its own. But my 20s were fun. I traveled, I enjoyed, lived with a girlfriend overseas. That was fun because I hadn't done that before. And then I met my, as I said, now ex-husband overseas. And so we came back to Australia together. So that was
Wait, I have a question.
Oh, yeah.
You said he was Italian.
Yes.
So was it because you were Italian? That's the reason why you went after him.
There's something I had a knowing in my bones when I was in high school that I wanted to be with an Italian. I don't know why I thought this. It was just a knowing that, and I'd never had an Italian boyfriend. It wasn't anything like that. It was so strange, but I always just felt like I wanted to be with an Italian man. It was pure coincidence or not, if you don't believe in coincidences, divine timing, divine alignment. But yeah, he was Italian, and we were working in the same hotel, and he was an Italian stallion, and the rest is history.
Very well said. Very well said. So you lived up to the hype.
Yes, exactly. So, and then my late 20s, I had my first son 5 weeks before I turned 30. So that kind of rounded out my 20s. It was like traveling, meeting my man, falling in love,
What a way to end your 20s too.
getting married, getting pregnant. That was all in the late 20s. So So I was a mama by the time I hit 30.
That's good though. I mean, that's the way to end your 20s when I really think about it, because when you really like when you break it down, your 20s is you're living your life phase. And by the time you hit your 30s, you kind of want to have stuff figured out. That's when you begin to settle. Like the next phase of your life, you begin to settle down. Act like I'm the expert over here, but that's how I've looked at. That's how I've lived it so far.
That's what they say.
That's how I've lived it so far. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not the expert. I'm just so far in my life. I mean, the way I lived my 20s, like you said, I was traveling, living life, talking to strangers left and right, learning their stories. It was incredible.
Yeah.
But, you know, rewind to when I turned 21, that's when that game ended for me, because it was no longer fun. I was like, well, now I can buy the stuff and go home. Like I don't need to go to bars anymore. It's the game's over.
That's right. It's 21 there. Here it's 18, which I think is crazy.
It was like that for a while here. Everybody always, like the older folks tell me it was 18, but now it's 21. But the thing I noticed when I was in that scene, it was always the same crowd over and over, same people, and the spiritual side of me always would say, Chris, do you really want to do this the rest of your life? Do you really want to be around this scene? Because I have a greater purpose for you, a greater calling. And I would ask my buddies, like, do you guys ever feel guilty for being here? Then they would look at me like, you're nuts, dude. What are you talking about? We're having the time of our lives. What are you freaking out about? But I was like, I don't know, guys. I feel like something inside me is calling me not to be here. I always feel like I'm being convicted while I'm here. And sure enough, I figured, that was the real reason, was I had a greater purpose calling.
Yeah.
It wasn't to be in that scene. And here we are, 10 years later, those people that I was with then are still doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And I've done traveled. I've been all over, United States. Eventually I'll be overseas, like I was saying earlier. Eventually, there's people that say I've been to India and Australia and South Africa and all that stuff, and I haven't. But people say I have. They've heard my voice over there.
Your energy.
I haven't been over there. I've been over there.
Yeah. And how amazing. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say how amazing that you came to that point in your life at 21. Actually, what a gift, really, that you heard the whisper, because I feel like it is a whisper when we hear those messages and those downloads. It's a whisper, and how amazing to hear that amongst the mess at 21, and to be strong enough. I was the same in ways, to be strong enough to say that's not for me. I want more, or I want to rise above that for sure.
That was just one of those where I felt it when I was there. It's just the energy was draining. And I looked around me in that scene. It was just, people never looked satisfied. And then the more I started thinking about it, like I started getting deeper as I started getting into it. I'm like, why did I call it wine and spirits? And then I put two and two together. Whining spirits. I'm like, what? How did I miss that all this time? You get these people that are under the influence, under the possession. And it's like people are blacking out and realizing, okay, I'm sorry, I'm totally getting off topic here. I'm getting spiritual.
I've seen all of those signs and those wordings and things as well.
But it made more sense to me when I started thinking about it more. I'm like, this is why you act this way. This is why you act that way when you drink that or drink that. And I'm like, this ain't for me, guys. I'm getting out of here. Yeah. I've seen how people are when they act like a totally different person. It's because they are. Something's going on deeper that we're not actually seeing. And I don't want no part of it. So I'm out. See you guys.
Exactly. Tap out early. It's the best thing you can do. Yeah, absolutely.
So 4 years later, I ended up meeting the love of my life. When I was 25. It was kind of cool because I was traveling all over the place. Wait, whose story is this? Mine or yours?
It's yours, go. 25.
But I'll finish this real quick. So I was traveling all over the state of Ohio trying to figure, I kept asking God, like, where is the love of my life? Where am I going to meet her at? And all the places I was traveling, eventually I met her. And I didn't know at the time until I looked at the map where I found her at, and out of the places I had been previously, it was right in the middle of the heart.
I
I
love
was like,
that.
okay, God, I see what you're doing. Because I pulled it up on the map and it was a heart for everywhere I've been, and the spot where she was at was right in the middle of the heart.
I
And I'm
love
like,
that.
so that's how I met the love of my life.
I
I
love
got married at 28, and we've been together since then.
that's
And I
amazing. I think it's
I
20.
love every moment of it.
Oh, that's so beautiful, Chris. I love that. I love the little heart in the map. That's beautiful. I think it was 27, 28. I got married as well. So you're right on schedule.
That was always my goal, man. It was
All the
always my goal.
20s. Amazing. Aw, it's
The
beautiful.
funny thing, though, too, when I got my wedding ring, it's a cross. I don't know if you can see it. Might be.
Oh yeah, right in the middle
But
there. I can.
when I first got it, I put it on the opposite way, and the photographer at my wedding was like, "You want to flip your ring?" You're like, "Why?" Because she was saying because you want people to see it from their angle, not you see it
Oh
from
yeah.
your angle. And I was like, "Oh." When I started thinking about it, when I looked at it, I was like, "Oh," because it looks like an upside down cross from that. If I have it, okay, I was like, okay, I get what you're saying.
I often wonder that when we put rings on, and it's like, well, I want to enjoy looking at it.
Yeah, it's like I want to look
That's
at it.
that's the little heart ring that I'm like, well, I want to look at the heart, but which way should it go? Yeah, I always face it to me, but maybe I'm wrong.
So you met the Italian guy. You guys have your kids.
We had two
Start living life.
Yeah, we had two beautiful, beautiful boys. I'm so blessed. The light of my life. And, you know, my eldest is about to turn 19. And every day is, I mean, you have challenges, right? Obviously, parenting is challenging in different ways, from nappies in one point, no sleep, to other challenges. But I always was like, I was put on this earth to be a mum. I think that's why I've loved working with kids as well for a big part for a decade. I love children. I love teaching. I love their magic. I love that they're the closest thing to God, right? They've just come straight from there. They've come straight from there, and they're a clean slate, and they're just magical. And I just love being a mom, and I've been blessed with two of the most incredible boys. We have an amazing relationship. We go deep. And it's a blessing. So I love it. Highly recommend if you're listening out there. We're doing a few ads today, Chris, aren't we? First Australia and now parenting.
Non-sponsored. But if you guys want to sponsor a show, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, that's so funny.
We're just
Yeah.
throwing stuff out there. This is all, If any of you want to throw some dollars at us, go ahead. Donations all to her. It's her story. Take it all to her.
And I think parenting is obviously one of the most rewarding things, but it teaches you so much about yourself. I thought I was going to be a certain kind of parent. I don't know. I
We
thought
all
I
do.
knew I knew
We
I'd
all
be all
do.
soft and lovey-dovey, but I don't know. It's you really learn about yourself, and yeah, it's a wonderful journey. It's challenging, but it's a wonderful journey, especially as a solo mama now. I've been a solo mama for almost 9 years. 9 years,
Now,
yeah.
the biggest thing, too, how much did you see of yourself in your ex and your kids, personality-wise?
Yeah.
Like, I see mini-me. Look, that's me.
Yeah, it's fun. But I mean, personality-wise, it's funny because they were born and they looked like their dad, and nobody ever told me they looked like me. And it wasn't until like many, 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 many years later that they started growing their straight hair for curls, and they're like, "Wow, they look just like you." And I'm like, "Finally,
Finally.
finally." And I'm an actor, and one was blonde, one was a brunette. I'm a redhead, so in TV land, they're never cast as my children. Like you'd never see us on TV as a family. But so whenever we audition, we never get it because we don't look like a typical family. But personality-wise, I don't want to say a lot, but definitely like I'm in the arts, so music, dancing, that sort of thing is big. They're beautiful. They're musical children. My son's been playing piano since he was 4. He played trumpet. The other one plays the cello. They're both great dancers. They're really smart. I think they get a lot of their smarts from their dad, and my mom is a genius in maths. So at some point I would say, you can do the homework because once it reached this level, I've got no clue. But personality, my little guy's got, we play a lot at home because I'm an actor. I'm a comedy actor. So we're always doing characters and voices. And so I love that they've taken that on because I think life is too serious and stressful. And if we can be silly and light and have fun, even as adults, it's so important. It's so important just to bring joy to our everyday, standing in a queue at Woolworths.
Wait.
Yeah.
So you're an actor. So this whole time it's on stage, and you were telling me you were Annie back in the day. It was the truth.
Yeah, I literally was Annie, but I wasn't literally Annie. I literally looked like Annie. No, I never played the part of Annie.
See, that would have been interesting if you actually did later in life.
It would have been funny. It would have been funny.
Or you played the mom or something.
No, I've never done that show. But it's funny when we were talking about. I don't know whether I should say this or not. Cut. When we were talking. We were talking about being teens and how was high school and all of that sort of thing. There was a point where I played a poppy flower in The Wiz in the musical. Now the poppies are the opioid flowers, as you know. And so she dressed us up as these, red dress, like prostitute-y looking. Yes, in high school, prostitute-y red dress. And that was year 11, year 10, year 11. It was year 10. And everything changed. All of a sudden, I was not teased anymore. I was seen. And I'm like, oh, is that all it took, me wearing a, poppy dress? So that was interesting. And that marked a shift, Chris.
That's where it all changed.
That's where it all changed, yeah. So, yeah, we've jumped around a bit, haven't we?
When did you actually become an actor? Like, was it in your, early 20s or, like...
No, since I was in school, I've been, performing. Yeah, it's all I ever wanted to do.
Really?
Yeah. Until you hear the callings for the next thing and the next thing and life unfolds. But I still, I'm 30 plus years as an actor. So I love it, and I love being silly. I love playing the really awkward, funny characters. May not seem like it, but that's my jam.
I felt like I had, in my head, I was playing, everybody's, all of a sudden you're doing, a standing ovation, 30 plus years, and you're holding, a trophy, a Grammy Award. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
It's a long time. It's a long, long time. But yeah, so my eldest son is doing drama in school. Unexpectedly, it's not something he's ever done. And, that's kind of cool because I'm like, oh, full circle moment, and I can help you. And the little one.
Somebody's following my footsteps.
Yeah. So it's fun, and it's kind of cool. Yeah. Shakespeare, helping them with that and things like that. So.
Life is amazing, man. Just how it does. Just the little things like that where you're like, holy crap, my kids are actually following my footsteps. They want to be an actor too.
They don't, but yes, I know. And you know what the thing about life, Chris, is it never turns out how you expect. If there's one thing I've learned about life, is that it's always changing. But, I always tell the story of like, I had planned to get married and have a boy and a girl, and then I had 2 boys, and then I planned to live happily ever after, and then I got divorced. And then it's, even like you search for a high school for years, like when they're finishing primary, it's such a big deal. Which high school are they going to go to? I got to go and do all the tours, and it's such a big decision. And you think, right, I found the high school, I put them in, and that's it. We don't have to worry about it for 6 years now. And then like a year later, we're moving schools, and like, and so I've now realized it's taken a little while, but I've realized you got to learn to go with the flow, and nothing is set in concrete. And the more we can get used to changing and flowing and being okay with it, the better we'll do at life, because it's so stressful. Otherwise, you're, hitting up against the wall all the time. And so if you just kind of go, oh, okay, that was unexpected. I didn't plan to, have life turn that way or this direction, but okay, this is the way we're going. And we trust and surrender. And I know you'll love trust and surrender, because it really is a guiding light, and it takes off all the stress. If I can trust, surrender, and release, and just know that the path I'm on is the path I'm meant to be going down, yeah, it's just life just becomes so much easier, and you can fall into life flow so much easier.
Yes,
Did I
that
get
was
that?
good.
That
That
was a
was
big
good.
that was a big roundabout circle to get back to here, wasn't it? But it's
That I
true.
was,
Like, yeah.
I was like, keep going, keep going. I'm loving this.
It's really important. It's really important. And so that's also part of why I love to speak. I'm trying to encourage people to live the life they came here to live, not the one that is expected of them, not the one that conditioning in the world wanted them to do or told them who to be. And, if we can just be brave and release the fear and take brave steps and be authentically ourselves, it's like putting all the pieces together. Authenticity, reignite our spark that we were talking about. We move into authenticity and choose the life that we want, that we saw for ourselves. And even if it's a really hard step, if we can just be brave, if we can just be brave people, and just honestly, the stress pre-decision and pre-taking a leap is so much bigger than after the leap if you can just do it. And the most important thing is life is too short. Life is too short to get to the end of life and have regrets. And there's actually really big statistics on it, Chris. Up to 50% of people have significant feelings of regret at the end of their life. Now, I know I don't want to be one of those people. I want to look back and go, you know what? I did that and it didn't work. And that's okay, because I tried it. And woo, I did that. And wow, that worked. And it led to that, and I didn't see that coming, but I'm so glad I took the leap. And I was brave. And if we don't do these brave steps and be courageous and trust and surrender, we can't see what an incredible life that could be ahead of us. And I think there's wishes and desires and goals for our life, but also pieces of ourselves that we hide and that we dim and that we wear a mask, one at work, a different one at home, another one with friends. And if we can just get back to ourselves and who we are and what we want, first of all, it's like the weight of the world off your shoulders when you can just be you everywhere, right?
Yes.
Whoever is meant to be there will be there, and whoever needs to fall away for that season will fall away. But living authentically, nothing feels better. And when you live authentically, you go, what do I want? And what's not done yet? And what's not, what part of my story is still waiting to be written and be seen? And what part do I want to be proud of, look back and feel proud of, So we just have to keep trying and keep doing and keep taking steps, and then we can look back on this incredible life of joy, of fulfillment, of courage. And some things will work and some things won't, and that's part of the journey. But it's sure better to look back and think, I had to go. So there you go. I kept going just for you.
I know you
And
killed
everyone
it.
out there. Yeah, and everyone out there. I feel very passionate about it because I think, life conditioning and, as I was saying to you, my people pleasing, being a good girl, a good wife, a good everything, a
Sure,
good mother,
sure.
you're doing that for everybody. And at some point, and hopefully people don't wait till my age to realize, hang on a second, I've been doing life for everybody, but what about me? What do I want? And what's important to me, and what's going to make me feel nourished and fulfilled, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree with everything that you had just said. It's just nowadays I look at it like because we have so much technology around us that you know kids I see everywhere are on them. They're on social media and they're on TikTok and they think that they have to live this certain lifestyle when really, like you said, you don't have to live life the way you want to live it. Live it how you want to, like really, because so many people are trapped in a box. You're at work, you're doing all these things, but you're not truly being you. You're not truly living the life you want to live. Now, don't be one of those people that are at their, they're later in life, 50% of people, like you said,
Mm,
dealing with wishing that they could have, should have, would have. Don't be that person. Be the person that gets out there and takes the leap, takes the challenge, lives that life. Yes, you're going to get hurt, you're going to get rejected, but it's going to be worth it.
it's going to be worth it. And you don't have to start big. So when we're talking about taking these leaps and, so authenticity might start as posting something online or saying something to somebody that you wouldn't normally, that feels more like you, that you think it's the person who you want to be, not who you think you have to be. So it can start as small as that, you know?
And also, I want to say, let me clarify. If you're thinking about doing something crazy or harming yourself, I'm not talking that way. I'm being
Oh,
completely positive. Don't do
absolutely.
anything like that. And if you're thinking that way right now, listen. You have purpose in your life. That what you feel inside you right there, you feel that that heart's still beating. That means you still have purpose. So don't give up. You still got a lot to live for. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Oh, did I get too deep there? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
sorry. So important, Chris. We do have purpose, and there is reason to live, and we do have purpose. And I think certainly the younger generation think, what is my purpose? I need to know young, or I need to know it has to be a thing. But really, it's finding the joy. And every time you find the joy and you take steps towards the things that you love and you feel passionate about, the next step will unfold naturally. And that's what we're talking about, being in life flow. Just take your next step of being more you. Just take your next step of doing something that raises your vibration, that brings you joy into your life. And you'll start to hear the whispers that we were talking about, of, actually, I think I want to write a book or change my job, or I'm ready to find a girlfriend now or a boyfriend, or, but just keep taking the next obvious step that lights you up, and then the universe will meet you halfway. God will meet you halfway and show you the next step after that. And that's when we hear the whispers. But it's when we reconnect to ourselves that we can start to hear those things, I think.
Yeah, and you're gonna take a couple straights from here and there, and life's not gonna be perfect. You're gonna learn as you go. I promise you. But it's at the end of the day, it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be worth it.
Yeah. And sometimes the knockdowns teach you as much as, a hit doesn't have to be a hit to rock bottom, and every time we get a little no or a rejection or whatever it is, we get more resilient and we get braver and we can even get hungrier. I actually did a talk just earlier this year in January, February, on a stage. It was a keynote, and I had been sick as a dog for 3 days. I was throwing up. I had food poisoning. I I literally wasn't vertical until 4 p.m. the day before, and I was back in the bathroom like 3 times before I had to go on stage. I actually didn't know if I'd be able to make it all the way through. It was one of the most horrendous talks I stood up there and I delivered, and I didn't let anyone down. I turned up as sick as I was and I delivered. And was it my best? No. Did I learn from it? Absolutely. I learned so much from it. And so that's okay. As long as we're taking, what can I learn from it? How do I grow? What is it teaching me? Then the knocks are actually not a knock, they're growth and they're redirection. And so if we can look for the gold within the knockdowns, they're not knockdowns. Yeah.
No, I'm just thinking of you being on stage with a bucket next to you, and you're just like, hold on a minute. Okay, let's keep it going.
And I was I literally, a friend was in the audience, and I was literally going to say, if I say, and now he's coming up on stage, just to, it's because I need to run, and I'll be back in.
I gotta go. I gotta run. What's on, everybody?
Yeah. And you know what, Chris, when I was talking to my circle in the days leading up, going, I'm so sick, I don't know how I'm going to show up for this. I cannot tell you the amount of people that told me their personal stories of resilience, of falling down, of, I kid you not, wearing nappy when they had to go on stage because they had issues going. You'd never know. People turn up, they show up, they do the work, they push through, and I thought, wow, if those people can do that, I can turn up. And if I need to run off and bum it, then that's what I'm going to do, And so I think the more we talk about and normalize the challenges of life, because we're all going through them, but
you just have to be open to it. Like, everybody's dealing with something. We're all in this life. We're living this thing called life, and we're all doing it the same way, but differently. Everybody. I mean, I've been doing this podcast for a little over 4, almost 5 years, and I don't look at people the same anymore. I look at, like, I'm walking down the street or walking in the mall, walking somewhere, and I see myself like. It's kind of crazy because people are like, what are you laughing about? I'm like, it's kind of crazy because I'm thinking to myself, I'm actually a character in somebody's life right now. I'm just a side character right now. As they're living their life, living out their movie, I'm just one of those people that are walking through it. And that's the beautiful thing. It's like, when you think about dreams and stuff too, sometimes you have dreams about people that you never even met. But the thing about you learn about your mind is the brain cannot create anything unless it has seen it. So any person that you've seen in your dream that you claim that you never seen before, it's not true. You actually have seen that person at least once, somewhere along the line. And that's the crazy thing. This thing, whew.
Amazing. I was talking to somebody just recently about a similar thing. How many times do we cross paths with somebody at the shops, on the train, so many times, and we don't know them, or we don't even realize that we're crossing their path, and just living these like lives separately but together. It's
Everybody, like you said, you're an actor, so everybody's living out their own part. Everybody's living out their own movie.
And people listening, you need to be the star of your own show. Which means, you like how I did that?
That was good. That was good.
Which means choose your own adventure and make it worthwhile, one that you're proud to look back on. So,
how do you want your movie to play out? Do you want to be the star, or do you want to be the side character? You make the choice.
Exactly. Nobody wants to be the side character and watch somebody else take the limelight of their life, of their movie.
Do you want to be the main character, or do you just want to be the side character? Because this is your movie. You only get one of them.
Absolutely. I'm main character energy, thank you. I'm taking it and I'm running with it. But it brings, intention and joy and so much when we can do that for ourselves, when we can be brave and choose ourselves and reconnect, take brave steps in alignment with what you're wanting. So main character. And then when you're flicking through your book at the end of your life, your museum, your book story, you can be like, wow, she did that. Wow, look at that. And be so proud. So proud. It's a good feeling.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You just hit it right on the head. I just had a flashback of when David, I don't know if you heard of David Goggins. He said this not too long ago. I heard him say it on a podcast or somewhere. He was saying, when it comes to that time, when you stand before judgment, stand before Jesus, and Jesus is up there listing off everything in your life. Do you want to be that guy that didn't achieve everything that he was supposed to? Or do you want to be the guy that said, yeah, I did that. I kicked that ass. I did that. That was me.
Yeah, exactly.
Because David Goggins put it like this. He said, oh, you did this. You did that. You totally forgot this. You totally forgot that. You forgot this. And you forgot that. Or do you want to be the person that got up there and, like I said, yeah, I did this. I did that. I did that. I could have not did that, but I still did that.
Exactly.
I kind of regretted doing that one, but I still did it.
But I did it and I learned from it, and that's the main thing, right?
I lived my life. And the beautiful thing about living life is you're going to have stories, just like how we're doing right here.
Exactly.
And you get all this wisdom. And somebody eventually is going to go down that same path that you did. And you can share that with them and stop them from making the same mistake that you did. Are they going to listen to you? Probably not. Because that's just how we are. We want to learn ourselves.
Exactly.
I mean, look at you. Being a parent, you learn that right away. You tell your kids not to do stuff, more than likely, they're going to do it.
Exactly. I say to them, this is choose your own adventure, but I'm here to support you, and I'm here to, make my suggestions from my own experiences, but you choose your own adventure, and I'll still be here for you. But I have a story for you, Chris. Just recently I did a speaking competition, and I decided to sing for a short, like a couple of lines. And I haven't sung in public in 20 years. I sing all day at home. I love singing. Sing when I'm happy, sing when I'm sad.
Okay, hold on. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
So I sung a couple of lines of Moana because there was a theme to the competition. And while I can perform, I can act, I can dance anywhere, anytime in front of anyone with no problem, singing is like I get petrified. So I hadn't sung in 20 years in front of people. My voice cracked. I could barely, but I pushed through, and I was like, you know what?
Got some water for you.
I was so proud of myself. I honestly thought after 20 years, it would have gone differently. I thought it would have been a bit stronger. I wouldn't have been so affected by my nerves. But I'm so glad I did it. It's such a small thing, right? Not a small thing, because the reason I was so nervous from 20 years ago is I had a really bad newspaper review on my singing when I was in a show. They were like, well, her acting's amazing, but the singing, yeah. So I was obviously carried that forward 20 years, and here I was in front of people. But I'm so glad I did it, because I was like, you know what? If I hadn't have done it, I would have regretted it, and I gave it a go. And it was a perfect no. Did it make me grow a little bit more? Sure, it did. Yeah, it pushed me outside my comfort zone again. It made me realize that even when things aren't perfect, I'm not, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. Things can go a little wrong, and it's okay. We're not perfect. We're human. So, yeah, it was good. It was a good little, another little thing to tick off and say I did it.
I did that.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing in life, though. Is like you said, was it the best performance of your life? No, your voice was cracking left and right. But the thing is, at least you can laugh about it. At least you can look back at it and be like, at least I tried. I gave it a shot. It didn't go as I thought it would, but at least I did it. I don't have no. At least I did it.
There's no what ifs now, right? There's no what ifs.
No what ifs.
And who knows? If I sing again, maybe it'll be better. Maybe instead of 20 years, I make it 5 years.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, when you first started acting, were you perfect? No, not at all. I mean, were you?
No, and you know what? When we start things, often as children, we don't care. We're in
No.
our bubble, we're in our bubble where time disappears because we're painting and it's beautiful and we love it. But are we artists? Are we good? No. But are we
No.
judging ourselves? No. And we just keep going. But then as adults, we want to be good at something yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we've got to know that to become better, we have to be messy at the beginning. Same with my dancing. When I went back to dancing, which was a big turning point of my reconnecting to self and reigniting my spark. And, I hadn't been dancing for a while. I went into the studio, mirrors everywhere. I was so disconnected from who I was and the dancer I used to be. I was 14 kilos heavier. I call it 14 kilos of sadness. And the teacher, Claudio, he was like, flow. And I was trying to flow. And I looked in the mirror and I'm like, who are you? What is that body? And yeah, why are you dancing so stiff? Where's my flow? Where's my femininity? And it was like starting at, base level again. It felt awful, but it was also a reminder that, well, this is where I get to begin again, and as adults, when we're learning things, maybe it does take us a little bit longer, or maybe we are a bit awkward at the start, and that's okay, because that's the starting point. And not trying is worse than giving it a go, because you never know 3 months from now where it's going to be.
Well said. Well said. I mean, and it doesn't even have to be acting, guys. I mean, that just life itself.
Absolutely.
You gotta take that leap. Is it gonna be like? Are you gonna be perfect the first time you do it? No. But the more you work on your craft, the better you get at it.
Absolutely. Even if it's tennis,
Yeah.
no matter what it is.
I gotta start working on that. If that's the case. If we're gonna play a game of tennis, I better get on the court and start practicing.
I definitely need to get on the court and start practicing.
Where'd the tennis ball go, Chris?
I can dance and I can swim, and I can't ball sports. I'm like, the ball's coming at me. Not my
I've done that though. I've actually rode a bowl. Not a real bowl, but a mechanical bowl. I actually set the record on it. College days. See, this is not my story, guys. I gotta quit jumping in like that.
Shared moment.
But if you want to know, 45 seconds. That was the record for I don't know, 5 minutes maybe. Somebody else came in and broke it. But that was the first time I rode a mechanical boat. It was actually pretty nice.
Wow, not easy.
The girl, no, I felt kind of bad because the girl who set the record was looking at me like, Chris, what are you doing, Chris? Everybody's looking at me like I'm the bad guy. Like, dude, I didn't expect it to last that long. I'm just happy I made it 45 seconds and not just 2.
Amazing. Excuse me. That's amazing and so much fun. Wow.
It was indeed.
Did you put the hat on?
Yes, I did.
Is it like essential that you put the hat on? Yeah.
Yeah, I put the cowboy hat on. I felt like a real cowboy for a minute. I was like, let's go! Let's go!
Rock star. I'd love to try that. I'm sure. I don't know. Sounds like
a real bowl or a mechanical bowl?
No. That's. I'm nervous just to try the mechanical one.
You get on there, you enjoy yourself. I know. Was I nervous? Yeah, but I had to prove a point.
Nice.
I was like, fellas, I'm about to do this, and you're gonna see me do this.
Watch how I'm.
When I got on there, I was getting on there. Though I was like, oh no, what am I doing? Why do I gotta talk so highly? But get somebody else in here. Get my stunt double in here.
It reminds me of we went to a place here called Luna Park. It's like a fun park, and they had really deep, really shallow. What is that angle? Straight down slides, and we'd done the curvy ones, and then there were these like full on death slides. And I said to my boys, I want to do it. They're just jumping on and doing it like it's nothing. And I'm like, okay, let's breathe through it. I really want to do this. So I get to the top and I look down and I was like, whoa, it literally looks like you'll fall forward because it's straight down. I don't know how you stay attached to the slide. Anyway, so some more kids came up and I was like, you can just go in front for it. It's fine. You go in front. Like, if I just needed like a couple more. And when I did it, wow, it was so fun. I was like, woo, like go up and do it again, but again, it's just that building that confidence and that bravery for anything, even if it's just so small. I'm an adult going on a slide,
No,
I don't
I'd
know
say
about
the scariest thing about a slide, though, after you do it, once you go down it, is going backwards. Woo!
oh,
Oh, I couldn't do it. I always try to trust myself going backwards, like a trust fall, like, oh, I could do it. I knew.
next
Especially
level.
the metal slides. Oh my goodness. It's life or death on those things.
I
Because they
fell
get
off.
so hot.
Yeah, the metal one. I fell off. The metal ones when we were growing up at the park. So, and I climbed to the top and I waved to my mom and fell off and cut my chin open and on a holiday and ended up in hospital with one stitch. But but we used to
What are
burn
you
our
doing?
didn't we? Yeah,
What are you doing, man?
our playgrounds from the past were death traps, weren't they? Legs stuck in, merry-go-rounds and burnt legs on metal slides. Those were the times.
Shoot, I was thinking if monkey bars still exist.
They
Because,
do.
do they? Because I was wondering, I was like, do they still exist? Because I remember like, if somebody would get on one side and the other side, you get all tangled up trying to
Yeah.
wrestle each other with the legs, like, I'm going to last longer. We were dangerous at kids. If you guys are trying this now, be careful.
Don't try this at home.
Don't try this at home. We're doing stuff that we should have been doing.
Yeah. I love the zip lines. They have some zip lines at some parks. They have their little zip lines. They're so fun. The kids love those.
I would have loved having a zip line as a kid. That would have been awesome.
Yeah. They're really cool. Yeah, I don't think I went on one as a kid, but as an adult, we've zip lined in Vanuatu across the jungle. That was really cool. But yes, micro version at the playgrounds around here. They're really cool.
That sounds. I want to try that one time. Zip line. Just go like a big like. How long was it? Is it like a mile long, 2 miles?
I have no idea how long, but you're like it's fun. Like you're in the jungle and you just keep doing them, and some are longer than others, and some are higher than others, and you're obviously harnessed in. And I remember once, as I'm coming in, I kind of stopped there. And it was like, help! And the guy has to like climb along the line and drag you back. But yeah,
Help!
it was good.
Somebody help!
Yeah, doing these boy adventurous things. We've done abseiling in the Blue Mountains. That was kind of cool. Again, doing it for my kids. I wouldn't have done that. My last memory of abseiling was year 9 science camp where I screamed and said, pull me back up. And then fast forward to an adult doing it. So lots of breaths to brace myself for these things. Yeah, but super fun.
Okay. Everybody's asking. What are you currently working on right now as an actor?
As an actor, I have a couple of ads out at the moment. I don't have anything else in the pipeline because I'm really focused on my speaking.
Hey.
Yeah, but I'm on a Well It Wizard ad at the moment. I'm on a San Remo pasta sauce ad. So that's on at the moment, and we'll see what comes down the pipeline. What's next?
Okay. So. What? Oh, okay. So, is there any movies that we would like that you've been in that we would know, or TV shows, any of that?
You would know Australia for Home and Away. So I've been on Home and Away. Not a long running part that goes for many months, but I was on there. I played a fertility nurse, so that was super exciting. Speaking role.
Wait a minute. Wait, I think I actually remember seeing you in that. I remember seeing that because you came out just like you said, just a small line. No, I remember it because you were like, "Yeah, come on back." You're telling the lady to come on back or something like that.
Yeah,
I remember seeing that.
that was me.
I was like, "Wait a minute, I remember that."
Oh,
As soon as you said something, I was like, "I remember that."
Good times, and so different, so interesting working on a TV show versus TV commercials versus stage productions. It's all so interesting. You know, sometimes it's in reverse of the glamour wise, in reverse of what you think it might be. So I'm hoping if anyone watching on Australian morning TV to get on and talk about my book next. So I've pitched that to the TV station. So we'll see if that comes about. That would be wonderful.
Oh, okay. So you guys want to know if I've been in movies too? Oh, yeah, I have. I have.
Chris.
I actually have been in movies, not as the main character, as a
Wolverine.
just a yeah. I was the stunt double. Watch out! No. If you guys heard of the movie Spring Breakers, I was in that. I don't know how
Spring Breakers.
how popular. Yeah, I don't know how popular that movie was, but I was actually a person in the background. I was at the party. Yeah, that was me. Yes, thank you.
Bravo.
That was actually when I was down in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, I was in Florida. I was on spring break, and I got to be a part of that. Yeah.
Interesting seeing how all the the background, how it all works, and shooting, and how many times I was on a Cadbury Favorites commercial, and I had to shake the chocolate out of the box, and you might shake the chocolate out of the box 15 times. Shake it higher, shake it slower, shake it faster, and whereas places like Home and Away move so quickly. There's 2 cameras, you get 2 takes per camera, and if you don't nail it, that's it. Whereas on an ad, they have so much time to spend, 30-second ad shoots for a whole day, and you can shake that chocolate for a very long time. So it's interesting, Chris. I'm sure you would have picked up a lot of like, oh, wow, this is really interesting how it works behind the scenes.
I only had one shot, and that was it. And it was perfect. But I'll say the thing about this is you want to know how much I got paid, right? That's what everybody wants to know, right? How much did you get paid, Chris?
Do tell us.
I got free McDonald's that day.
Woo!
I got a free gift card to McDonald's. That was it. Thank you. And I had the worst beer on set ever. That was gross.
Well, drinking on set, I mean, that's a bit of a luxury. Come on.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't the main character, so.
Was it alcohol?
It was non-alcoholic, but it was the worst drink I ever had to this day.
Wow.
And I refuse to say it because they don't sponsor me, so whatever.
They were small sips, I imagine.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
You just see me in the background with my little hat on, like.
Well done. You see.
Other than that, you guys want to? I was in another thing for MTV. They were doing something about. I wasn't actually in this one. I was just kind of like a person in the background because they were walking on the boardwalk. I guess they were doing like a documentary on this lady that had like oversized breast or something like that. And I was just a person in the background. And they asked me if I was okay to use my face, and I was like, yeah, go ahead, sure, I don't care, I don't mind.
There you go. I did a music video. I was a lollipop girl. That's funny. It was filmed so long ago when I actually saw it. I hadn't seen it in a very long time, and I saw it again, and it was so static. Like the quality of the video was so bad. That's how ancient I am. And I must have been in my 20s, so very funny to look back at these things.
Wait, does this count as being in a movie? We're kind of like doing something right now. If that's the case, I've been in a lot of movies.
That is, yes, you have. 4 years of being the main character, Chris. Love it.
Hey, so you're talking about your book. I want to learn more about this book.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about this book.
So I wrote a book and we were talking about whispers, right? Little nudges from God, from the universe. And I was sitting down on my couch one day and I was like, oh, I'm going to write a book. And I got out my laptop and I literally, it's got like 3 sections and I literally got chunks of it out. It's only a small book. And it's like a little motivation, inspiration, coach in your pocket type book. A lot of the things that we've talked about really like, because that question, Chris, of, if you fast forward to the end of your life and look back, is that, are there regrets? Are there things that are not done yet? That question weighed so heavily on me and made such an impact in me taking action that it's actually the first page of my book. So besides the intro, it's the first page of the actual part. And it goes in and just asks a lot of reflective questions. So it's the sort of book that you can read, open any page and ponder that for a day or a week or journal, or you can read it all in one sitting. And it really does ask you to reflect on who you are before the world told you who to be. Do you remember? Do you remember your dreams? And what if you take a chance, and what if it turns out bigger than you even imagined? Because sometimes we're like, oh, I don't know what, but like, what if it's even better than you imagine? Because I bet it would be, if you take a chance on your dreams and you're just returning to yourself so you can unlock that future of authenticity and joy and flow into your purpose. I really believe that, returning to a past passion is the beginning point. And so, so my book encourages people to reflect on who they are, where they lost themselves, why can't they be brave and step in and just look at what would happen and imagine how amazing life could be. And, there's meditations at the end. And so it's a little book like that, and a really soulful book. And I get very excited by it. I know it can have a really, all the people that have read it write to me and say, I was making a decision, I'd been sitting on for a couple of years, and this, reading this really opened my heart and went, yep, I'm going to do that. Or, if it's like a warm hug from me. Who wouldn't want a warm hug from me?
I mean, it's hard to turn down a good hug.
Pretty good hugs. It's like, I say it's like a warm hug with a gentle kick up the booty. So you can, I have that in there. I'm like, this is your, gentle, loving kick up the booty to get moving on your life, because life is too short and I want you to live the life you came here to live.
Where can I find this book at?
So it's on Amazon. It's called The Soul Nudge. It's on Amazon. It's also on my website, which is leannezaccar.com.au. So there's links there. You can buy it through my store for some bonuses, or you can buy it on Amazon.
Yeah, buddy.
Super. That's it in the background over there. Pretty pink one. So yeah, and I never saw myself as an author, and look what happened. I wrote a book and it was so fun, and I was like, let's just have a go. And I made it
taking a leap
and learning in the process, learning how to publish a book on KDP, how to do all the stuff. Like, I designed the book cover myself. I designed, I wrote, it was really fun. So, and now I'm already like, ooh, I wonder if I want to write another one, So
how about another one?
Yeah, you never know where life takes you.
I like how the book cover looks. It looks really good.
Thank you. It's very me, It might not
Yeah.
be like, it's not like, necessarily what normal books look like on the outside when
it's a gift.
It's really, really cute with the bow. It is a gift. It's a gift to your heart, a gift to your soul, you know?
I
And
like it. It looks really good.
yeah, I love it. Thank
Actually, I
you.
want to read that book myself
I will send you a copy, Chris.
because that's right up my alley, man. I love that. I love self-help
If
books.
anybody watching this, how about this, Chris? If anybody watching this would like a copy, how about they just reach out and I'll send them an ebook copy? How's that sound? And
It
we
will
can
all
get
be in the description down below.
yeah, and we can get some people, taking some steps to reignite their spark and step into abundance of joy and fulfillment.
Oh, you want to know if I have a book too? No, not yet, not yet. Eventually, I'll write a book, but not yet.
Hang on, Chris. Oh yes.
Oh yes, I do.
Oh yes. What would your book be about, Chris?
What would my book be about? That's the interesting part. I was thinking about if I wrote a book, I don't know. It'd probably be motivational stuff. It'd probably be to get you in the right mindset, to
Yeah.
influence you, to get you where you need to be in life. I mean, I could talk a big game, and I can write a big game too. That was actually my passion when I was growing up. I love writing. I still do that from time to time. I used to write about everything, because for the longest time when I was younger, I used to always imagine myself losing my memory at one point in my life, and I used to write everything down. So if I went somewhere or went on an adventure somewhere, I wrote it down. I wrote everything down, and then I would read it later on, a few months later. I'm like, I actually did that, didn't I? You ever did?
Evidence, because here's the book.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking to myself. I did journal. I wrote so many journals, and I would think about just nights I was doing something, or just got out of my comfort zone and did something, like the bowl, mechanical bowling thing. I can actually brag about that.
I love that. And I think it's funny that in my day it was called a diary, and these days it's called a journal. But yeah, I used to
Ink on paper.
ink on paper. And so good. They say it's so good for our, clarity of mind and getting ideas out
Goodness.
and working through difficulties. And I always suggest to people to do a 10-minute journal, because a lot of people aren't into journaling. I'm like, take all the pressure off, do bullet points if you need to. But one of my favorite things is a 10-minute journal. You set a timer. You're not typing. It's pen to paper because of the brain connection. And you write for 10 minutes. And if you don't know what else to write, you go, and I'm not sure what to write now, but you keep writing and you don't take your pen off, and then the next thing will come. And it's very powerful, very powerful.
And it's really good. If you're an overthinker and you have say you got a lot on your mind,
Yeah.
I found that for me, that has actually worked out to perfection. If you overthink about a lot of situations, or you got all this stuff going on built up inside you, and say you're stressed out, you got stress to the max. Do like you said, get a piece of paper, write it down, write everything that's on your mind, and then at the end of after you're done, rip it up.
Exactly. You don't even need to
You'll
read
feel
it
so
again.
good.
So true. Yeah. So true. You don't need to read it again. And when you just want to and get the bad stuff out, you don't need to reabsorb that energy. Just tear it up,
It
burn
works.
it. Yeah, it's really good. Same as, they say if you've got that busy mind, keeping a pen and paper next to the bed. So when you're lying in bed, you can't sleep, write it down. And so you're taking it out of your brain, and you say, I'll leave it there and I can pick it up in the morning if I need to, but now I don't need to think about it. It's really very helpful.
I've actually heard that's a really good idea. If you're looking for ideas and stuff, and say you have a dream, because a lot of times what happens, especially guys, I don't know about women as much, but most guys tend to forget their dream after 10 minutes of being up. And I've actually found it where if you find a dream really interesting, it's nice to have that pen and paper next to you when you wake up. Because I've done that a few times where I wrote out a dream that I had, and then actually the scenario actually played out in real life. Like it was like foreseeing the future. Like,
Yeah,
and I
wow.
was glad I wrote that down. I'm like, hey, yeah, I'm glad I
Yeah,
took the
and you can
time to
come back.
write that out because I could actually play this character better.
Absolutely. And you forget, you're like, what was the timing that I, thought that was happening? And I used to keep a dream diary. I used to dream a lot. And then it got to the point where I was exhausted and I was sick of it. And I was like, please, brain, stop. I'm putting the diary away. I need a break from these, and I just need some quality sleep. But yeah, prolific dreams and stuff are very interesting, especially if you can note them down and come back to them. Wow.
Well,
Cool.
some dreams don't make sense to me because I'm
Course.
like I'm not in the dream at all. I'm like I'm just a cameraman. I'm like, what's up with this?
Yeah.
Why am I like? It'll have nothing to do with me at all. I'm filming.
Wow. I
I'm like,
love
am
that.
I like I'm just standing in the background? What the heck's going on here, guys?
Where's the main character energy gone?
What's happening here? And I think that's really the inner part of me is saying like, you got to step into that situation. You can't be
Could
the guy
be.
in the background. You have to be in there. Take the lead.
Absolutely. Step into it. And hopefully it was a
Step
good
into it.
a good
Embrace
way to
it.
step into. Yeah.
And then it actually plays out in real life. I see this actually happening. There's people, the two people on my train that are having this conversation, and then I've heard it before. It's so weird when I really think
Yeah,
about it
deja
now.
vu. Deja
And
vu.
I
It
run
is
into these
real.
people like I've heard this before, and I
Yeah.
know what you guys are gonna say next. And here I actually have the advice for you.
Wow. It's phenomenal, isn't it? It's so interesting. I find it so fascinating, all of these things.
Life is
Dreams.
interesting, man.
Dreams and our time travel and our public telephone booths and all of this stuff is so interesting. Yeah.
We've been all over the place in this podcast.
We have. We have. It's been lovely though. It's been really fun.
All right, as we begin to wrap this thing up, I just simply want to say thank you for coming on and sharing your story
Thank you
and
so much.
advice. Your advice, especially too. We've
Thank
been
you,
preaching left and right.
Chris. I'd make a good preacher, wouldn't I?
Yeah,
Next
I
time.
could see it.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very passionate about it. So it really, it makes my heart sing when I can help others and help guide from my own experience and as I said, help raise the vibration of the collective so we can all live a better life. So I'm so blessed and grateful that you've had me on the show. It's been amazing to connect. Finally, we got there. We've had so many chit chats and we knew it was going to be a good one. And it's been really, really fun.
We just met today, guys. Everybody always asks me that, like, you guys known each other for years? Like, no, it just happens like that at times, you know. We just had that connection.
A nice connection, exactly. We had it's all thanks to you, Chris. So thank you again.
Hey, you accepted the invite. You could have said no. You could be like, no, I'm too busy. Get that guy out of here.
Oh, you were so warm and lovely. Who could resist? So when it's a nice flow and a nice connection, it's what we need to be doing. So yeah, divine alignment, as I like to say.
Yes, beautifully said. All right, let's wrap this thing up and let's do 3 random questions.
Okay.
The first question I have for you. Let's see what we got here. If you could go anywhere in the world, all expenses are paid for.
Ooh.
Where are you gonna go?
I have always wanted to go to the Maldives.
Nice.
I know.
Good
I'm sure.
choice.
I've also wanted to do New York as well because I've never been, and as an actor, that's like Mecca. But I would love to go to the Maldives. It looks so beautiful, and as a Cancerian, I love being near the water.
All right. For the next 2 questions, I allow you to take over the microphone, and you can ask me 2 questions.
Amazing. Okay, Christopher, who has been one of your most memorable guests on your podcast, and why?
I think everybody so far. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but everybody. I find, like, I think I might have said it earlier, but I found that everybody has a story, right? We're all in this thing together, this thing called life. And everybody's living out a way. We're all living out our movie. And everybody's playing their part. And maybe you step into their movie with them and say, "Hey, how's it going? I'm Chris. Nice to meet you." Kind of like we're doing right now, right?
Yeah.
But every story I've heard so far has been really incredible. And just hearing how they overcame, stuff,
Yeah.
how they dealt with certain things, and how they, just tough things. But it really makes you appreciate life differently, how you look at life differently. Because you truly never know what's going on in an individual's life. That's what I love about doing this podcast.
Mm. So true. So true. That's why we
Hopefully
say
that answered your question.
yes. Be nice to the waitress. You don't know if she's having a bad day. Okay. And for my final question, Chris, if you had one piece of advice to give to the younger generation about anything you want, living a joyful life, what would it be?
Enjoy your life. That's the best way I could put it. I've preached throughout this whole episode, I would say. I've given you pointers and tips. Not just to direct you, but I'm talking to my younger self. Because I was in that boat. I was in your position at one time where I doubted a lot of stuff. And I just it's pretty much like what you're probably thinking right now. Like, there's no way I would be able to do that. There's no way I'd be able to get in front of the camera and be able to speak to somebody. Or, like Chris said, be in movies as background characters. Or be like Leanne, be one of the main characters on a show, doing a little lie. I mean, you got to really get out there and just live your life. And you really will appreciate life more. But if you live in a shell, you're going to have a lot of what ifs when you get older. And you don't want that. You really don't. You only get only one of these lives. And you want to be out it. Truly, at the end of the day, how do you want to go out? Do you want to be the one that said, I got out there and I accomplished everything that I ever set out to do? Or do you want to be the person that's on your deathbed, regretting that, wishing you had more time to do things now? Because right now, the clock is ticking. That second that just went by, you're never getting that back. The minute that just went by, you're not getting that back. The hour and 41 minutes, holy crap, that just went by. You're not getting that back. But I thank you for watching this. Thank you for listening too, if you want. Either or.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. And exactly what we said, Chris and I are going to be part of the other 50% that look back with joy and fulfillment. So we encourage you to do the same.
Little heart for you. There you go. Much love, guys. But other than that, I'm your host, Chris Baker. That's Leanne. She had just told her story. Until next time on the Tell Me Your Story podcast. Peace out.